All right, good evening, everybody. Let's get right into our analysis for today. Today was kind of an ICT silver bullet setup. I did end up using that indicator. These are the indicators that ended up being relevant for today. It was the high time frame market structure as always. The open levels were less relevant, but I still think they're important to have, and the silver bullet indicator as always. So let's get right into it. As the markets opened this morning, what I was looking at was this 1 hour structure right here. This looks like some solid consolidation. A lot of people would call it a bear flag, but those are retail concepts. We don't use those. So what I was looking at more importantly was we hadn't made any market structure shifts. We hadn't closed under any of these swing lows. So what I was thinking was this is obviously consolidation for an expansion to the upside to take out all-time highs. So I'm going to look for is a retracement to ideally 1 hour order blocks. That's what I love to see. I personally prefer 1 hour order blocks and I love trading off of them. This was the 1 hour order block that I was looking for. Now, what I missed, which was devastating to my trade, was this. Here we can go ahead and delete all these drawings so I can draw them from scratch. But I missed this, which I know this is a different hour. Technically, the order block on MNQ was at 1, but their price was reacting off of these equally. So this is what I missed. We had a huge SMT from this low to this low. That was crucial because if you look at MNQ, this means that MES is the leading index, which is something that is incredibly important to keep in mind. Because what this means is MES is going to end up respecting order blocks, this high time frame order block in particular, and it is going to have the best setups to expand to the upside. Now, I only trade MNQ, but it's still very important to keep this in mind because it's the exact reason I missed my trade today. Looking at MNQ, we come down and we hit this 1 hour order block, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to see a drop down to these 1 hour order blocks, because what we're looking at right here is we drop down, and not only do we go past halfway, so we don't respect CE, we dip past OTE, which I'll go over why OTE is relevant later, but that's catastrophic. That basically means the price isn't respecting that order block, and I was like, all right, I'll have to wait for a lower retrace. But what I didn't keep in mind was that MES, the leading index, actually perfectly respected this order block. It stayed in the top half of it the entire time. Complete respect. There was nothing I could have asked more of. So what's important to do now is I missed this trade completely. But what happened on the lower time frames was very important. I only trade MNQ, but what we should have recognized in this situation is okay, a lower low has been made on MNQ, and we're technically still inside of this order block, even though we were disrespected the upper half. What's important now is we now go down to the lower time frames and we make sure that there's entries on both MES and MNQ. So right as price opens, this was where this low was made for the SMT. But what happens here is we make a low, which is lower than this, and we're kind of looking for a market structure shift. Where we get that is right here. We make a swing high before this lower low that's made, and we get a market structure shift. Now what we're going to be looking for is a retracement. So we're going to go ahead and take our Fibonacci and put it at the low that we made, and then we're going to go ahead and see when it starts going below that 50%. Now, this swing high is the first time that it goes below 50%. Before I go any farther here, we're going to go ahead and go back to MES and identify exactly what we just identified on MNQ, but on MES, and that's going to be right here. This is that higher high that's made right at open, and we immediately take out this previous swing high, which gives us a market structure shift, and then following that, we're looking for that 50% retrace into a level of some variety. And there's one here, but I'll talk about why that one didn't end up working. After that, we don't get any kind of retracement past 50% until here, same time as MNQ. Now, the important thing to keep in mind is we'll go back to MNQ here, and we'll talk about, yes, why OTE is relevant and why I'm bringing it up today, but also why it needs to be in confluence with something else. So when we look for a retracement past CE for an entry on our lower time frame, we're not only looking for an entry below this CE here, we're looking for a confluence to match with it. So what I'm looking for when I see these is this is an order block down here that hasn't been filled. This is an order block that hasn't been filled. These in here are order blocks that haven't been filled. This one actually has been filled here. This one, I mean, you could say it has been, but not really. But this one definitely hasn't. So what I would do is I would go ahead and draw out this order block here. We won't extend it into price yet, just because we don't know which ones we're gonna want. But when you're watching price, this is what I was doing this morning. This is what I was paying attention to. And then there's this little block in here, which is very relevant with these OTE levels. Great. Now we're going to go on to MES and do the exact same thing. Even though we're not taking an entry on MES, MES is the leading index, so it's going to have the ideal entries that we're looking for. I just tend to trade on MNQ because I think it looks a lot smoother and a lot more precise. So we have our OTE levels right here. This is below 50%. Anything below 50% works. Now, what lines up with these OTE levels is a couple of things. One is this order block. This order block right here has not been filled and perfectly lines up with an OTE level. That is precision. That is what ICT teaches. This is smart money concepts. This is exactly what we look for. Now, what we also have is an order block up here that has not been filled. So we can also have this written out, which is important as well. And we can also have, other than that, there's not really much. So that is what we're looking for. We have these two order block levels, and then on MNQ, we're looking for something that mirrors that. So the best thing we got in this scenario is probably either this order block here. This order block is actually pretty ideal, or this order block. Now, the reason price did not return all the way to this OTE is MNQ is not the leading index. It was not going to be as clean. It was not going to be as precise. So we can't expect the same amount of precision as we get from something like MES. Even though I say MNQ is more specific and more accurate, just because of the nature of correlated indices, this is kind of just what happens. So our entrance here for MNQ, in my opinion today, I should have entered on this order block or this order block. Either one, preferably this one because it's below one of our opening levels and it's approaching an OTE. That's where I would have placed it, and putting it above the OTE is fair in my opinion because we're not guaranteed to hit OTE on a non-leading index. Now, if I was trading MES, for those of you who may prefer trading MES or just trade both by nature, it's totally fine. I know a bunch of people that do that. Then I would have immediately gone with this level. This is no coincidence that the order block previously on our lower time frames perfectly matches with our ideal OTE entry. There is no doubt that that is a very specific level for a reason, and it lines up tick for tick. Right here would have been our ideal entry, and sure enough, we go into what looks to be 2 ticks of drawdown. So that would have been the ideal entry if you trade MES. That is literally perfect. There's nothing else you could ask for. It's below the 830 open. It's the leading index. There's nothing else you could ask for. The only downside is this is your all-time high. So your expansion, your opportunity for profit is capped by the fact that all-time highs on MES were minimal. You can see that these are all-time highs here. And if you look at MNQ, the story is a little different because we have all-time highs up at these Asia highs over here, and we have London highs here. So that's why I preferably would have traded MNQ. That's one of the other reasons, is we would have had a return to this order block in here that I could have entered on, and then we would have gone to a bit more drawdown, but we would have had more expansion to the upside, taking profits here at this London high, and then taking profits again at all-time highs or Asia highs. Anyways, that is the review for today. The biggest takeaway for me is that I did miss that high time frame SMT between MNQ and MES. I think that was crucial to my collapse on my trading today. I totally should have made this trade. I was looking for trades this morning after the gym, and I didn't see it. I saw that MES was the leading index, but I didn't make the correlation that it would be respecting the 1 hour order block instead of MNQ. That's my biggest takeaway. Once again, if you guys want these indicators that marks out all of the session times, Asia highs, London highs, previous day highs, previous weekly highs, that is all in this silver bullet indicator. It encapsulates pretty much everything you could want in a silver bullet indicator. I strongly suggest it. I'm here to promote it, obviously, and you can find that down in the description, my Whop, or in my profile, or on X. You can find it pretty much anywhere. It'll also be in the pinned comment. These ICT open levels are these two levels right here. those are also very crucial to the ICT concept, and the ICT high time frame market structure is right here. It's less relevant right now because this is not accurate pertaining to today's price action. It's accurate pertaining to this right now. So, but I use this on a very daily basis, and this is all available on my Whop. And some exciting news, I will be coming out with some more indicators in the near future. I'm currently working on coding them at the moment, debugging them, going through a lot of late nights and a lot of fun though. I really enjoy it. So I hope you all greatly enjoy it. I'm also starting a Discord for anyone that wants to join, and that link will also be in the description. But thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful night. I've loved seeing the interaction with my videos and my Whop and X in general. I really appreciate the support you guys are giving me. It's really great. But anyways, I hope you all enjoy. If you have anything to say or anything you'd love to see change, let me know in the comments or on X or in Discord or the chat on Whop. Anything works. I'm available all the time, unless I'm taking an AP test like this week, which is unfortunate. But other than that, I'm fully open. So I hope you all enjoyed. I'll stop yapping and yeah, enjoy, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe.